Hey there, I'm Stephen Dorner from the Department of Emergency Medicine and one of the Torchiana Fellows. I'm here with Marc Succi from the Department of Radiology to talk about his new initiative, RadTranslate. Hey, Marc, how's it going?
Hey Steve, how you doing? Nice to see you again.
It's good. So tell me about RadTranslate and what you've been working on.
Yeah, so RadTranslate, and everyone watching can visit it at radtranslate.com, is an initiative from Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion to provide translated directions for basic one-way communication. So this is for exams like chest x-rays. In COVID, this has been a huge thing. COVID screening, falls risk, mammography screening. So essentially, we made an app where you can play directions in different languages to tell the patient what to do during the exam to get the best possible images and to just let them know what you're doing and give them that agency.
That sounds awesome. So where have you guys implemented this already and what are the different use cases?
Yeah, so the way this really started is that during COVID at the Chelsea RIC, there was a lot of patients getting chest x-rays and a large Spanish-speaking population. Right? So they don't speak English. You're trying to do chest x-rays. You're trying to do a lot of them. And interpreter services was really strained and still is.
Right.
So the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee in MGH Radiology actually identified this, and shout out to Jennifer McGowan, Margot Moskow's, and Joy Williams and Dan Chanda, who collected the ideas, who brought up this need. And they brought it to me, and I run the Mesh Incubator, which makes various devices and prototypes. And and we looked at the end user in this situation. So the technologist doing the exam. And we started asking them, what would help you complete these exams more efficiently for non-English speaking patients? And they said, if we had instructions, audio instructions that were in Spanish. So what we did was we went to the end user. So it's kind of a lesson in user-centered design. And we talked to the techs and we got their scripts. We got exactly what they said at every step of the chest x-ray. And we used certified medical interpreters to convert them to Spanish and other languages like Mandarin, Arabic, Cantonese. And we put it online on radtranslate.com. And we used an AI-powered text-to-speech to actually convert those text phrases to audio. So you can play the audio directly off your phone when you're with a patient. We set up an iPad at Chelsea. We swung by Micro Center, brought the iPad over, told the techs how to use it. And so it's set up there permanently. And you can use any device and essentially go to radtranslate.com and choose your exam and play the instructions in whatever language you want.
It sounds incredible. And I'm sure you guys have seen some pretty phenomenal conclusions in terms of improvement to your internal operations and to health equity as well with the patients that have benefited from this technology. Is that right?
Yeah, no, it's definitely right. So we've had about 2,000 uses since we first implemented it in April. And, when you implement something like this, there's the patient in terms of parties, the provider, the DI leaders, and then there's always the finance and operational people. And you want to align incentives like this to make it a success in any innovation. So we actually did a study and we recently submitted it. Hopefully it'll get accepted for peer review on the operational impact of RadTranslate. So we put this in the Chelsea RIC about 30 days after it opened. We then looked at all the Spanish-speaking patients getting chest x-rays that required an interpreter after implementing RadTranslate and then compared them to the controls before. And basically found that while the exam length for an average chest x-ray is 12 minutes, it's the same. What really was different was the standard deviation. So with RadTranslate, there's a 95% certainty that exam takes between 10 and 14 minutes. But without RadTranslate, using the previous method of calling an interpreter or not calling an interpreter, that exam could have taken between 6 and 30 minutes, right? Because 6 minutes if you have a Spanish-speaking tech or you're minding the instructions, 30 minutes if you have a delay when you're calling the interpreter. And so with more certainty about how long an exam would take, scheduling-wise, you can schedule more exams and make sure the room is not left open and unused and reduce patient wait times. So really aligning incentives of the operational managers and financial, which leads from that. And I think that's been really helpful for us to prove that this is worth it. And in fact, that it would be unwise not to fund things like this. So that's kind of where we're at now. And we're always looking for more partners. So.
Yeah, no, it sounds incredible. So, where are you guys looking to expand next, and where else are you moving it to?
Yeah, so we're hoping, we've been talking with a few specialties at Mass General, but anyone at Mass General who has basic exams or procedures that require one-way communication, either because you want to give the patient agency and let them know what you're doing as you do it, or maybe you just really require some feedback or positioning. So inserting IV lines, central lines, intubation where you want to explain that procedure, but you don't want to step out and call a translator. Anything along those lines, semi-sedated procedures would be useful. And we can work with you to make a script and put it online, and you'll have it. You can play it from your phone, your iPad. You can play it if you're in a procedure room, and it's free. So we're happy to work with you to put it online.
That sounds great. So we'll make sure that everybody gets a link to radtranslate.com and to send you an email if they have ideas about how you could potentially expand into their clinical space and identify more use cases.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we're happy to help, and it's great being in the MGH environment. Everyone has been so easy to work with, from the managers at Chelsea to the diversity committee to our leadership in the department and outside of the department. So glad to help, glad to be here.
Yeah, no, it's phenomenal work you're doing, and I appreciate you taking the time to talk about it with me.
Thanks, Steve.
See you.